This is a Flying Cow production.
Sup, losers? Here we are for the very first episode of something everybody's been waiting for, the Hammer Sessions. That's right. The cow finally wised up and decided to give me my own show. I've been telling him for a long time, you want eyes, you put the hammer out front. So here we are, the Hammer Sessions. And because he told me I had to have a co-host, and he didn't really give me very good options, we have Dr. Meggles herself. How we doing, Dr. Meggles? You good?
I'm here because the cow asked me to be here, and I think this is probably a good idea. And I think we need to just move on. Because why are we here? What are the Hammer Sessions? What can we expect?
They're the thoughts of the person that everyone wants to hear from, of the Hammer, the talent, the face of this league. I don't even play. And everybody, first thing you think of when you think of movie battles, the Hammer. Oh, you mean that thing that the Hammer was 3-time champion of? Yeah, that thing. That is why we are here. Everyone wants to know what the Hammer's thinking. Everybody wants to hear from the Hammer's special guests, because we are what's happening right now, okay? We are what is really important.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I'm here to help support the vision with maybe some hard facts that might get left out.
Yeah, sure. All the boring stuff. Yeah.
Who do we have as our first guest? I'm actually very curious.
Of course, you ask me who the first guest is. I mean, could it be anyone else? When I went down my list of all the people I wanted to talk to, only one name was first on the list. Of course, it is the current reigning, defending movie battles champion, none other than Lil Boat, Caleb Boatman. Boatman, how are you, sir? We unfortunately, since your big title win, haven't heard a lot from you because they had chuckleheads running everything. You weren't going to talk to them, but you are going to talk to the man. You are going to talk to the Hammer. So how are you, sir?
It is so good, Hammer. To find someone who is actually worth speaking to, for one.
Right.
And B, to be able to talk about this. Come on.
That's what everybody wants to know about.
Look at that.
Look
at that. You look at that. Look at that, Hammer. Look at that. Look at that.
That is quite a belt there. So Caleb, let's maybe talk a little bit about your journey to get to this belt, because
your journey, Caleb, it has been quite the journey. I mean, we look at your career as one of the best in movie battles. I mean, you've had 9 matches, okay? These are some instant classics. Let's start off with your very first match. When you put the league on notice, you let everybody know this is what's going to happen from here on out. When you knocked out Stephen the Goof Levin. Let's talk a little bit about that match. What were your thoughts on that match? What were your thoughts on your competitor?
Look, I have no ill will towards Stephen. Should he have been playing here? No, he's bad. I'm sorry, he is. But I held nothing against him.
No,
Ultimately,
just like I don't hold
admit-
anything against a cockroach, but
Exactly.
they don't belong in my house.
An ant does not quarrel with a boot, and the boot doesn't quarrel with an ant, but the ant gets stepped on anyway. At
Absolutely.
the end of the day.
Let's just say you had a pretty easy opponent to begin with to kind of jumpstart your career here, but then
About
Can we jump
90% of the league is easy. About 90%.
Well,
it's true.
as I look at your next match here, round 1 of the tournament.
Okay. That was a fluke. That was a fluke. Megs, what did we talk about before this? That we weren't going to bring up things that we didn't need to talk about. Okay,
I
believe
said we're
you
going to talk
said
about
that.
facts. You
That
want to
you
talk
didn't
about his
need to
matches.
talk
This
about-
is a match he played in.
Hammer, what is your intern doing? What is your intern doing? I don't understand.
Look, I spoke to her. This was her rule. She said, we're not going to talk about things we don't need to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a match we
Ooh.
don't need to talk about. This is something.
If you're
Okay.
Hammer, if your intern isn't busy, I like a white mocha with like a pump of vanilla. If you want to get on that, while Hammer and I actually do the
that's-
talking.
that's-
You know what? Maybe I can multitask, and maybe while I think about going to do that for you, let's maybe talk about your next one. First match of the season. Coming off of maybe ill-deserved an early dismissal from the
Okay.
tournament. I can agree this was not something you expected, but you had a chance to jump right back in and
You know what? I'll speak to
face off
that.
against David.
I'll speak to that.
What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, no, I will not shy away from talking about that in both cases, in both Nazario and David, and really all of my losses. What have I been talking about? What have I been talking about this whole time? My whole lead up to the title, what have I been talking about? Right? Clay likes to schedule these little fluffy matches, right? Where, these people who score, 9 points a match, play someone else who scores 9 points a match, and their record gets inflated. Like Hannah the Hindenburg. Talk about an inflated record. That's why she's the Hindenburg. Ultimately, you get these people who aren't very good, who get to play people who aren't very good. And what do I get? I KO Goofy Boy. And you know what happens? I have to play Nazario, one of like
How is
four
that
people
fair?
in the league who's
How is
actually
that
good.
fair?
One of the 4 people who's actually good.
So
Maybe it's because Clay's friends get the easy matches.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
my friends get the tough matches.
let's not forget that Caleb actually had a very high scoring match. Okay. If Nazario had missed his 5 like he was supposed to, Caleb would have won that match. Hands down.
When
I
when
don't
I lose
disagree.
by
The
a hair.
numbers,
When people lose to me, they lose big.
the numbers bear out that yes, had Nazario not hit his 5, you would have taken the victory in that match. But then
And then you bring up
what
the match
happened-
with David. Okay, I'm sorry. Have we not brought up enough? That 5 was ridiculous. Okay, anybody else gets that question, they also lose. Okay,
Let's not even talk about that. Not even talk about my 5. Let's talk about David's 5 for a second. Oh yeah, Madame Medusa's crocodiles. Come on, it's Bruce and Nero. Everyone, children, babies come out of the womb knowing the answers to that question.
having
yet
grown
I
up on
have
that
to know
film, I
Who
can't
plays
disagree that that's
Jane
well known.
Banks?
yeah, that was fixed. We all know the fix was in. The cow had it in for Boatman.
Because I
but
dared to
did-
call them out. I dared to call him out, so he didn't like me. I dared
Yeah.
to actually
Well,
say something.
But
Given
here's
that,
the thing, Meggles.
I'm still speaking.
Oh, were
I'm
you?
gonna talk about something that you might like.
Mm-hmm.
His next match. Who's Jonathan Harrell?
Exactly.
Oh, wait, okay. We want to talk about that, but let us not forget, okay? The cow tried to hold down Boatman, okay? But did
Mhm.
Boatman let that happen? No, he did not. What did he do? His very next time in the arena, he defeated everyone in the league and won the elimination gauntlet.
And that's place. No, no questions where one person gets one question, one person gets the other. It is knowledge
Been playing
versus knowledge. And who won that? Who won it?
And that was very
won?
impressive.
Who won?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. We were getting there. Yes,
You were
very
skipping ahead
impressive
of
for
it,
you to
but,
come,
A little bit.
for you to come
skipped
in
ahead of it.
and
You did.
You did.
I did.
You
I
wanted
did.
to avoid Boatman's accomplishment. And I mean, who's
Well,
editorializing here, Meg?
well, let's think about
Who's
this.
editorializing?
That elimination gauntlet, your win there won you the opportunity for your very next match,
Mhm.
which was a championship match.
Well, that once again, you are scooting around Boatman's achievements. Okay, you tried to jump to it. Okay, we didn't talk about it yet. After that, he won a very well-deserved victory against, I mean, the phenomenon, Jonathan Harrell. Okay.
The name
I mean-
suggests that it was his top opponent. And yes, a knockout is a very nice feather in that lovely cap of yours.
was
I will give you
also-
your due for that.
He was in the elimination gauntlet. Okay.
Mhm.
He was a certified competitor.
He
He
was
was.
one of Clay's buddies is the
Yeah.
most important thing, is that Clay's buddies get in there and they get their pathway to get in there. And ultimately, I see what I show you what happens when I play Clay's friends.
Yeah,
When I get to play Clay's buddies,
and it wasn't the hammer, it wasn't Boatman that put him on the roster. The cow did that. Clay did that. Okay.
Okay.
We just took advantage of it.
Opportunity came and you took it. I will not fault you for that. So what would you like to talk about next?
Well, okay. You know what? You bring it up. I guess we do need to talk about that championship match against Kelly, because Boatman earned that. Boatman
did.
deserved that. Boatman should have been in that place the year before. He wasn't, but he finally got that opportunity. And what did he do? He became the very first competitor to ever push Kelly to her 5-point question. He made her earn that win. Did she beat him? Sure. But no one else in this league made her earn it the way Boatman did.
Kelly had to play a perfect game in order to beat me. That's the end of the day. If you want to beat me, you have to be perfect. And if I make people play perfect, I'm not going to be upset about that. If people play, this is what I've been wanting the whole time, right? Kelly's wasn't a fluky win. It wasn't anything. No, I played the person who was where they deserved to be. Ultimately, I wasn't happy with what she was doing with her championship, but do I think she deserved to be there? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I think she got worried about losing to me again, potentially, and that's why she left? Yes. But, if
We
she
all know
felt
the truth, Kelly.
uncomfortable-
We all know the truth.
if she felt uncomfortable about facing me again, it was her prerogative to just lead the way for me. I appreciate that. Ultimately, she did me a favor. She did me a favor so that I got a pathway to get the spot that was rightfully mine.
Yeah, and let's talk about that pathway, because like you said, Kelly, no one feeling you coming up on her, she decided to take her championship and run. Okay, she tucked tail, she ran, she left the league. Okay, so that left us with a vacant championship, and you, of course, got one of those spots to have the opportunity to play for the championship. Let's talk about those matches. So why don't you bring up the stats for those matches there, Meggles? Who did he destroy first?
So we went into the final round. We didn't end this in a knockout or a TKO. The first of these matches that did not end in that way. And oh my goodness, Mr. Tournament Upset himself, the litigator, Lauren Collins. The first one that you came up against, and you did have to answer some questions there in that final round. Boatman, did you feel that after the results of this, did you maybe underestimate him slightly?
No, what did I have to hit, my 2 or my 3? I think I just had to hit.
You hit your 2.
I had 2.
He still won.
Children can hit 2s. At the end of the day, if I'm in a situation where my opponent can hit all 3 of their questions and I only have to hit my 2, that's not that bad of a situation. At the end of the day,
I don't disagree. That
I think
is
what she's
usually what everyone wants.
I think what she's trying to do, Boatman, is point out that he was the only player you didn't TKO in this run. So she's trying to make him seem impressive. It's really sad.
I mean,
the facts are what they
sure,
are.
I had to go to my 2 in a 3-round match. That's fair. At the end of the day, Clay's lawyer. I'm not gonna justify him by even calling him his name. It's Clay's lawyer, because that's why he's gotten all these little upsets, because he's been, fixing Clay's books for him and Clay owed him something. Ultimately, that's what's been going on. Look, I still beat Clay's lawyer. You're trying to undermine what happened there. I beat Clay's lawyers. What happened at the end of the day?
Well, I will give you this. If we're done talking about this one, you got to have a little bit of revenge or a little bit of retribution from last year, because you then came in and TKO'd Nazario, someone that you credited as knocking you out of the tournament last season. You didn't feel you should have been there against him in that tournament. How did you feel about facing him here in this path?
No, I believed that of that part of it, whoever won between me and Nazario was going to be the first person facing Holtzman for the championship. I knew that. I knew that me and Nazario were the 2 best people in that thing. I don't think we should have been facing each other at that level. That probably should have been like the #1 contenders match. But at the end of the day, we still face each other. And at the end of the day, look, Nazario's a really good competitor, but sometimes you got to take old Yeller out back and do what needs to be done.
Yeah. That is a graphic
That's
depiction,
good.
but it
Speaking of old Yeller,
it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's a Disney movie.
It's a good reference. It's a relevant reference. I will give you that.
And speaking of old Yeller, let's talk about your next match.
Okay.
Makes old Yeller look like Cujo, if you know what I mean.
Knocked out the Chartmaster, the 3-time #1 contender. Yeah, that just means she's really good at losing.
She's really good at losing, and she was the 3-time #1 contender before the good people got there. Before the good players got there,
one could say, looking at her numbers that she had even in that first round, that was not characteristic of her. Now, not saying that you didn't deserve to beat her. I'm saying that you fair and square outscored her, but you may not have been playing the best version of Hannah that we have ever seen in this league. So
is there a good version?
Players play good all the time. If you're a good player, you play good all the time. At the end of the day, what? Have I ever done less? What you've got the stats. Have I ever done like less than 7 in a round 1? 6? 5? I don't even know.
Your lowest is a 6.
A 6. Yeah. I haven't done less than a 6 in a round 1. At the end of the day, what did she do in that round 1?
She ended up coming away with 3, which, like I said, is uncharacteristic for her. That is not her normal, though.
Yeah, but good players always play good. At the end of the day, I've always hit at least 6. Good players don't have days where they, on an off day, I would maybe shoot a 5 or a 4. I don't shoot 3s. You don't, if you're a 3, then and you think you're a good player, then no, you're a bad player who gets lucky. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Meggles, here's a question I got for you. You're the stats person. Could you tell me, what's the most Caleb's ever lost by? It's only been 3 matches, but what's the most he's ever lost by?
Oh, let's see here. If I say that's 4, that's well, no, that's not there. Lost there. That was
Having a hard time.
4. That was 3.
She can't find something that helps.
Just
the
making
narrative.
sure I'm not
She's like,
missing something
it's
obvious.
not as bad as it should be. What?
Yeah.
So, and of your 3 losses here, it looks like you have lost by between 4 and 3 points overall.
4 and 3. And that's less than a 5-pointer. That's not even being
is.
completely beaten by a 5-pointer. Okay? That's the most the man has ever lost by. And I would ask you what's the most he's ever won by. But we know that's going to take you a while because he wins a lot. Big discrepancies. Okay? KOs all over the place.
For the
Don't
record, it's 13.
Ooh.
That's a good number. That's a good number.
It's a good
You
number.
know, that's the numbers that you should be getting. Those, thank you. I appreciate that you're actually doing your job now. Thank you for doing your job. I appreciate that.
Was I not? You just don't appreciate when I'm actually doing my job correctly. It's only when it's convenient for you that I'm doing my job. But
let's not
regardless.
forget about the crowning achievement. The reason that this man's got some bling on his shoulder.
Some nice hardware, yes.
His
Let's talk about that
championship match. And I gotta say, look, was I having a hard time with this? Because you guys are my 2 tops. You're both my guys. Cameron against Boatman. I knew it was gonna happen, but I also knew it was gonna be tough. But you guys did not disappoint. You put on a match for the ages.
No matter what, you had a good show. No matter what, you had a good show, and you had a worthy champion at the end of the day.
That's
true. At the end of the day, you had a worthy person who was going to be in that position.
Yeah. That was a very interesting match to see go down because I noticed that just by only 1 question margin, you were down by 1 going into the betting round. And then you had a major swing with a director's category and that betting round question where you both bet 3 and it went in your direction. A 6-point swing is tough for any competitor to come back from. Did you feel that you had it at that point when you saw that swing happen against Cameron?
Look, there's nothing wrong with being confident, but at the end of the day, Holtzman's still a great competitor. And if you're celebrating before it's time, that's not what you do. You know, you play the game and you play the game till the end. At the end of the day, Holtzman could have forced me to hit my 5, and I would have had to hit my 5. At the end of the day, anything could have happened. But I will say, you got to know your Pixar directors. There's what? 2, in terms of the Disney animated directors, those don't get asked as much. You just got to know the big ones. Pixar directors, there's what at this point? 25, 26 movies. I don't know what we're counting yet, but anyway, in terms of when this match comes or when this interview comes out. But anyway, point is that Pixar directors, you gotta know them all. At the end of the day, there's only a handful of them. You gotta know them all. Holtzman didn't remember Brian Fee, and that I feel bad for him, but it's just something you gotta do. You gotta do, and at the end of the day, Holtzman is someone who studies. Holtzman isn't one of these people like Hannah the Hindenburg who just says, "Oh, I'm just going to show up and have fun." And, no, you actually put in I know this sounds crazy to some of you, but I'm just going to talk to the people at home for a second. Hey, if you want to win matches, you have to put in the work. I know that's scary, but you have to watch like The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad or Fun and Fancy Free. I know that's scary.
There is something, one does also have to have a nice base knowledge of having really enjoyed these films from an early age, and time with those films can give some credence to people who have been able to do very well off of knowledge that they can recollect from long history with these films. But I digress. I will.
You do.
Tell
You
that
do
to
that
the-
a lot.
I will leave this for now.
Tell that to the people who lose. Tell that to the people who have that and lose. At the end of the day, tell that to Hannah the Hindenburg.
At the end of the day,
Look,
you
look.
are the champion. And
He
we have
is.
a tournament
That's
coming.
what's important. Yes, thank you, Meggles. We have a tournament coming up. And as you know, Boatman, they often do these preview special. Ooh, everybody get excited about what we're doing things. And last year, I believe that the cow invited on the champion to be a part of that preview special. Caleb, did you get an invite to that preview special?
Cow doesn't talk to me. At the end of the day, I've heard nothing. Not a peep. Cow's not happy I'm here. Cow's not happy I'm here. He doesn't talk to me. I didn't get a call. I didn't get a text. I didn't get an email. Didn't get a pigeon. Didn't get an owl. Didn't get nothing.
He finally has a champion he can be proud of. And does he give him an invite to the preview special to talk about the tournament that's going to decide his competitor at Blowout? No, he snubs him.
Okay,
Remember
okay,
what
okay.
Remember what
let's-
Maleficent did when she didn't get invited somewhere? Oh, for those of you watching at home who are Clay's friends, Maleficent is the villain from Sleeping Beauty. You might not have known that.
Yeah.
So let me just say, on behalf of maybe feeling the snub here, on behalf of the cow, I will say, since you are here, Caleb, I would love to hear your predictions on who you see coming out of this tournament. Maybe some competitors you might not be overlooking, or some competitors that you feel, where do you see things shaking out overall?
Absolutely. Let's just break it down quadrant by quadrant, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
I appreciate order and organization here.
Feel free to not talk about things that aren't important. When I did this thing, I was like, yeah, half of these matches don't matter.
No,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm just going with the important stuff, the semifinals. I don't care about these little matches. Look, if Amanda plays the lawyer, that's happening here. I don't care. I don't care because both of them are gonna lose. I don't care. They both suck. I'm sorry. Look, top left corner, it's not gonna be anyone other than Holtzman. Cameron Holtzman,
Yeah.
he got there. He got there. I can see him coming back, but he got there. He went 6-0 before he played me, correct? Intern. Is that correct? Is that the
I believe it was actually 4-0.
4-0. 4-0. Thank you. I appreciate
Details.
that. I appreciate that. She's actually doing her job there. 4-0. Cameron went 4-0 before he played me. He's gonna win his quadrant.
Okay.
Bottom quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love this bottom quadrant because
It's a gift.
it's Chump, and Coho. Like, come on.
They're just trying to give it to him.
Yeah. Hammer, please tell me. Yeah, look, I get it. If you can't,
God, they have done a little bit of meddling.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
a little bit.
I'm understanding you see Coho coming out, which does give us a repeat here. We've got Cameron versus Coho on that side. What are you two gonna do with this? This is
At
a
the end of
tough
the day,
one.
it's going to be exactly like when I played Cameron. At the end of the day, no matter who comes out on top, the correct person, someone who deserves to be there, is coming out on top. Now, Coho managed me in that match. It doesn't mean he doesn't care about Cameron, but Coho managed me about that match. I'm going to back my boy, but at the end of the day, either of those two could win, and I still got a smile on my face at the end of the day. Because Rojo, I just want to look at that bottom bracket, that bottom left bracket. Because look, it's Hannah the Hindenburg, the person with the most inflated record ever. It's Chris Diaz, who's not good. It's Coho. And Coho in round 1 gets to play Kevin Boss. Oh boy, that's a massacre. Again.
Okay, so I understand you think that bottom left is pretty well sewn up, and you are thinking you're going to see Coho come out by a slight margin there over
My slight
Cameron.
margin could go either way. It's going to be either Holtzman or
That's
Coho.
fair.
it could go either way.
Okay,
Top right.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Say, where are we at here on this? Let's say maybe the top right quadrant.
we'll go top
what are your
right.
thoughts here?
Top right. I'll admit this one's a toss-up. I think that I will say this. I'll call this. I think the winner of Pardis and David wins that quadrant. I think they beat whoever comes out of Spence
Okay.
Bryan. So I think the winner of Pardis and David calls that. I know the smart money's on Pardis. I'm actually gonna go David on this one. I think Pardis is one of those guys who has weird misses. I think David's actually gonna come out on top
Yeah, he's a thief, but he's got some talent.
here. Yeah. Pardis.
So you have
Pardis
David
has
coming
some
out of
talent.
that.
I think David comes out on top here. Actually, I've been on record as saying David's a quality competitor. He gets some fluky wins, but he's a quality competitor.
Okay.
Bottom right, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Nazario is a top tier competitor. No one comes close. No one.
Don't exactly see eye to eye with the guy, but he's got some
talent.
Got some talent.
Talent recognizes talent. At the end of the day, talent recognizes talent. Nazario is talented. Do we agree all the time? No. Do they have to take him out to the pasture? Yes. At the end of the day, I can still recognize that compared to everybody else in his quadrant, and really, frankly, everyone else on the right side of the bracket, Nazario is the only one there who's actually worth anything at the end of the day. I think Nazario clears through his side of the bracket pretty easily, and it's going to be Nazario versus either Holtzman or Coho. I think that's at the end of the day, that's what the finals are going to be.
So
Yeah,
I gotta ask you, champ, because everybody is waiting. They're on pins and needles. Who does the champ think he is going to be playing at Movie Battles Blowout?
I'll admit part of this is influenced by the fact that I've already played Holtzman. I've already played Nazario. I want to play somebody new. But I also think he's got the ambition to get there. He's willing, look, some of these guys, they play like George Foreman, they play like Joe Frazier, they play like Sonny Liston, they play like Muhammad Ali. Coho plays like Mike Tyson. That dude will bite your ear off. At the end of the day, I think we can see some punch-out action here, and I think Mike Tyson is who I end up facing in the championship. I think that's what ends up happening. I think Coho, he's gonna scrap his way there. I think a lot of people are gonna call those wins flukes, but at the end of the day, that's exactly where he wants them. I think he's gonna make his way there, and I think that's what I'm gonna be facing. Could be Holtzman though, could be Nazario. Either way, not gonna complain. I don't really want to face Holtzman for the title again right after I just faced Holtzman. Nothing against the guy, but I just played it. Nazario in a 5-round match.
He needs to regroup.
Yeah, no, exactly. Nazario in a 5-round match, kind of get the rubber match, the 3-peat. I'd be okay with that. Coho, I've never faced before. It's a fresh face. I think he's scrappy. I like scrappy. Crazy beats strong every time. I'm going Caleb Coho.
And I think that a Boatman versus Coho main event for Blowout sells out anywhere. Okay, we're gonna get eyes from everywhere.
Clay can't even be mad anymore because he'll be making so many views off of us. He can't even be upset. At the end of the day,
he will thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna quote something one of the greatest athletes of all time ever said. If they're clicking, I'm gonna paraphrase though. If they're clicking on a video so that they can boo me, they're still clicking on the video.
There is something to be said about that.
Wise words. Thank you very much, Mr. Boatman, our champion, the Movie Battles champion, a champion we can all be proud of. Thank you very much for joining us for the very first Hammer Sessions. And to all of you out there, I'm done with you now. Go home. It's been your pleasure. And bye.
Moo.